My biggest moments of growth have been moments where I have been given constructive feedback. So I always operate with this growth mindset, and I am a work in progress student of the world.
Yeah. And you also said earlier, being a mother grounds you. Can you share a bit more about that? Like, how does that make you a better leader? Because at least in my perspective, parenthood, motherhood, fatherhood is very synonymous with leadership.
Absolutely. I'd say that my children really provide perspective. And as we all know, kids don't really have a filter. They say things as is. And hence they keep you really true and real in terms of what your values are. And if you have very strong values at home as a family, and if you don't operate with those same values externally, then they call you out on that. And particularly if your kids are involved, as my kids are in my work, in my career, and my world. And I think that's why I say they keep me grounded, they keep me real, they keep everything into check and perspective. Because at the end of the day, they really help me get perspective on that.
Yeah. And you said they are involved, right? Can you share, like, how are they involved, and maybe give an example of when they like show you the mirror, like something about yourself which was not in alignment with your behavior?
So from the time they were born, they've seen me travel and work and be around in small periods of time. But when I'm around, I'm 100% present for them. And my husband actually stepped down from his big job as a choice to be a full-time parent while I pursued my career. And this is from the time I took on bigger roles in terms of leadership and having to travel. We always sat around the table and had a discussion. What does it take? What does this mean for all of us as a family? Particularly, I remember when I was joining Glint, I made my family travel with me to the US for my final interview. And they actually visited the office and met a few people. And we sat around the table and said, okay, what does everyone think about this? This is taking a big risk, moving from a very established Connects IBM world, moving into a startup world. What does this mean for all of us? And they have ever since been really involved in how I operate and what I do and what I don't do. To the point, a simple example, last week, I generally never work from home, but it happened to be that I was working at home, and Aryan, my older son, was watching me do various calls throughout the day. And in one call, I was giving some feedback to one of my leaders. And just after the call, he said, Mama, if I were you, I would have said this quite differently to how you said it. And I said, okay, tell me more, Aryan. And he said, well, you were doing the right thing by giving him feedback because it's so important to know when you can do better. But it felt like you didn't give him anything positive, even though I know your words meant and your intent was there, but it didn't come across as you actually. And I think that was a real moment of, oh, yes, actually, that's so true. I went straight into giving constructive feedback, having not thought about perhaps that, he is a great leader and he does a great job. So I think that's what I mean when I say how involved my children are in my world of work.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful, right? Getting the unfiltered opinion from somebody who doesn't have a vested interest in supporting you. And especially as a CEO, as a leader, many times those vested interests or just a hierarchy in an organization can stop that direct feedback from flowing your way. So thank you for sharing that.